The United States Open Tennis Championships is a hardcourt tennis tournament which is the modern iteration of one of the oldest tennis championships in the world, the U.S. National Championship, for which men's singles was first contested in 1881. Since 1987, the U.S. Open has been chronologically the fourth and final tennis major comprising the Grand Slam each year. The other three are the Australian Open, French Open and Wimbledon. It is held annually in late August and early September over a 2-week period. The main tournament consists of 5 event championships, men's and women's singles, men's and women's doubles, and mixed doubles, with additional tournaments for senior, junior, and wheelchair players. Since 1978, the tournament has been played on acrylic hard courts at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center at New York City, New York, United States. The U.S. Open is owned and organized by the USTA. Net proceeds from ticket sales are used to promote the development of tennis in the United States as the USTA is a not-for-profit organization. The U.S. Open has tie-breaks in every set, including the last set. The other 3 Grand Slam tournaments have tie-breaks in every set other than the last set, and therefore their last set continues indefinitely until a 2-game lead is reached. History. The tournament was first held in August 1881 on the grass courts at the Newport Casino, Newport, Rhode Island, and in that first year only clubs that were members of the United States National Lawn Tennis Association were permitted to enter. The first edition was won by Richard Sears, who went on to win 7 consecutive singles titles. From 1884 through 1911, the tournament used a challenge system whereby the defending champion automatically qualified for the next year's final, in which he would play the winner of the all-comers tournament. In 1915 the national championship was relocated from Newport, Rhode Island to the Westside Tennis Club at Forest Hills, New York. Already in 1911 an effort was made by a group of tennis players, headed by Carl H. Beer from New York, to relocate the tournament to New York, but by a vote of 95 to 60 it was decided to remain in Newport. In early 1915 the issue resurfaced when a group of about 100 tennis players signed a petition in favor of the move, arguing that most tennis clubs, players and fans were located in the New York area and that it would therefore be beneficial for the development of the sport to host the national championship there. This view was opposed by another group of players which included 8 former national singles champions. The contentious issue was brought to a vote at the annual USNLTA meeting on February 5, 1915, and with 128 votes in favor and 119 against it was decided to relocate. From 1921 through 1923, the tournament was played at the Germantown Cricket Club in Philadelphia and it returned to Forest Hills in 1924. Though regarded unofficially by many as a major championship beforehand, the tournament was officially designated as one of the major tournaments by the ILTF commencing in 1924. In the first few years of the United States National Championship only men competed and the tournament was known as the U.S. National Singles Championships for men. 6 years after the men's nationals were first held, the first official U.S. Women's National Singles Championship was held at the Philadelphia Cricket Club in 1887, won by 17-year-old Philadelphian Ellen Hansel, accompanied by the U.S. Women's National Doubles Championship and U.S. Mixed Doubles Championship. The women's tournament used a challenge system from 1888 through 1918, except in 1917. Between 1890 and 1906 sectional tournaments were held in the east and the west of the country to determine the best 2 doubles teams, which competed in a play-off to see who would play the defending champions in the challenge round. The Open era began in 1968 when all 5 events were merged into the U.S. Open, held at the Westside Tennis Club in Forest Hills. The 1968 combined tournament was open to professionals for the first time. That year, 96 men and 63 women entered the event, and prize money totaled $100,000. In 1970, the U.S. Open became the first Grand Slam tournament to use a tiebreak to decide a set that reached a 6-6 score in games and is the only major to use a tiebreak in the deciding set. The other 3 Grand Slams play out the deciding set until a 2-game margin is achieved. From 1970 to 1974 the US Open used a best-of-9-point, sudden death tiebreaker before moving to the ITF best-of-12-point system. In 1973 the US Open became the first Grand Slam tournament to award equal prize money to men and women, with that year's singles champions John Newcombe and Margaret Court both receiving $25,000. Another US Open innovation came in 1975 when floodlights enabled night play for the first time. In 1978 the tournament moved from the West Side Tennis Club, Forest Hills, Queens to the larger USTA National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows, Queens, in the process switching the surface from clay, used in the last 3 years at Forest Hills, to hard courts. Jimmy Connors is the only individual to have won US Open singles titles on all 3 surfaces, while Chris Evert is the only woman to win on 2 surfaces. The US Open is the only Grand Slam tournament that has been played every year since its inception. It was announced in December 2012 that the men's singles final will be played on a Monday night in 2013 and 2014, a decision which has proved unpopular with the Association of Tennis Professionals. The past 5 men's singles finals had been delayed by 1 day due to untimely weather conditions. From 2015, the men's final will move back to its traditional Sunday night time slot. Player challenges of line calls. In 2006, the US Open introduced instant replay reviews of calls, using the Hawkeye computer system sponsored by Chase. Each player is allowed 3 challenges per set plus 1 additional challenge during a tiebreak. The player keeps all existing challenges if the challenge is successful. If the challenge is unsuccessful and the original ruling is upheld, the player loses a challenge. Instant replay was initially available only on the stadium courts, until 2009 when it became available on the grandstand as well. Once a challenge is made, the official review is shown to the players, umpires, and audience on the stadium video boards and to the television audience at the same time. During the 2011 US Open, 29.78% of men's challenges and 30.2% of women's challenges were correct. In 2007, J.P. Morgan Chase renewed its sponsorship of the US Open. As part of his sponsorship arrangement, Chase renamed the tournament's replay system the Chase Review On and Stadium Video and Television. Grounds. The Deco turf surface at the US Open is a fast surface, having slightly less friction and producing a lower bounce compared to other hard courts. For this reason, many serve and volley players have found success at the US Open. The main court is located at the 22,547-seat Arthur Ashe Stadium, opened in 1997. It is named after Arthur Ashe, the African-American tennis player who won the men's final of the inaugural US Open in 1968. The next largest court is the Louis Armstrong Stadium, opened in 1978, extensively renovated from the original Singer Bowl. It was the main stadium from 1978 to 1996, and its peak capacity neared 18,000 seats, but was reduced to 10,200 after the opening of Arthur Ashe Stadium. The third largest court is the 6,000-seat Grandstand Stadium, attached to the Louis Armstrong Stadium. In 2011, Court 17 was opened as a fourth show court, with large television screens and electronic line calling which allows player challenges. Sunken into the ground, it has been nicknamed the Pit. It initially held 2,500 with temporary stands, but will allow over 3,000 fans after its completion in 2012. It is located in the southwest corner of the grounds. Side courts 4, 7, and 11 each have a seating capacity of over 1,000. All the courts used by the US Open are illuminated, meaning that television coverage of the tournament can extend into prime time to attract higher ratings. This has recently been used to the advantage of USA Network Euro, and now, ESPN2 Euro on cable, and especially for CBS, the American broadcast television outlet for the tournament for many years, which used its influence to move the women's singles final to Saturday night to draw better television ratings. In 2005, all US Open tennis courts were given blue inner courts to make it easier to see the ball on television. The outer courts remained green. The USTA National Tennis Center was renamed in honor of four-time tournament champion and tennis pioneer Billie Jean King during the 2006 US Open. Prize money. The total prize money for the 2013 US Open Championships is $34,252,000, which represents an increase of about $10 million compared to the 2012 edition. The prize money is divided as follows, per team. In addition to the championship prize money, an amount of $410,000 was available for the Champions Invitational and $1,272,000 for player per diem, bringing the total player compensation to $25,526,000. The US Open has made a 5-year agreement to increase the total prize money to about $50 million by 2017. As a result, the total base prize money for the 2013 tournament has been increased to $33.6 million, which is a record $8.1 million increase from 2012. The champions of the 2013 Emirates Airline US Open Series will also have the opportunity to add $2.6 million in bonus prize money, potentially bringing the total 2013 US Open purse to more than $36 million. Ranking points. Ranking points for the ATP and WTA have varied at the US Open through the years, but presently singles players receive the following points: champions, past champions, men's singles, women's singles, men's doubles, women's doubles, mixed doubles, singles finals, current champions. Records, media coverage. The US Open is broadcast in the United States on CBS Sports, ESPN2, and Tennis Channel. Starting in 2015, ESPN will take full control of televising the event and end CBS A unregistered trademark S role in covering it after 46 years. The tournament is broadcast in Canada on TSN, TSN HD, TSN2, RDS, RDS2. The tournament is broadcast in the United Kingdom on Sky Sports with red button service of all 6 TV courts and Eurosport. In the Netherlands and Germany, the US Open is broadcast on Eurosport and Eurosport 2. In Germany, Eurosport 360 HD covers up to 5 multi-channel feeds only available on Sky Germany. In Belgium, the US Open is broadcast on public broadcasters A copyright N, Canvas, and on commercial channel Eurosport. In Portugal and Spain, the tournament is broadcast on Eurosport. In India and Pakistan, the US Open is broadcast on the Channel 10 Sports. In Japan, the tournament has been broadcast on WOWOW since 1992. The US Open's website allows viewing of live streaming video, but unlike other major tournaments does not allow watching video on demand. The site also offers live radio coverage. In South Korea, the US Open is broadcast on cable network XTM since 2012. In Russia, the tournament is broadcast on NTV Plus and Eurosport. In the Philippines, the tournament is broadcast on Balls. In Mexico, the tournament is broadcast on the Televisa Deportes cable network. See also: US Open Series, references. External links. Official website.